Hello, everyone. This is sprint planning for YakShaver, sprint 58. And we are going to talk about what we did in the retro. We have a new PO, Callum, that started from this week to...
Hello. Sorry, Hajir. This is a sprint review and retro and planning, right?
Yep, that is.
Okay.
So let's get into it. So we had two goals for the previous week that we had to achieve, but they are still in progress. One is client onboarding. We wanted to have a consulting scenario, and we wanted to allow external SharePoint video hosting that would let someone to use their own SharePoint. The duration was 1 week, and the video is available in the playlist.
Sorry, is that top one an epic?
Uh,
Did we make the epic a sprint goal?
I believe so.
I think that might have been a mistake, unless it's a very small epic.
So yes, this is this epic. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, you got to make sure a sprint goal is attainable in the week. So I would say that be careful with that.
Sure. Okay. Well,
unless it's like literally the last 2% of the epic that you're trying to get over the line or something.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's a small epic anyways, but
Okay.
yeah, you can go through that. So the attendees are Stephen, Time, Luis, Ajay, Callum. Who else I should add? Julie.
Adam, JK, Luke, M.
Eric.
Already have Adam. Okay, cool. Luke, M.
Luke, M. Awesome. Here's the timesheet data. Hajir was sick, unfortunately, couldn't work much. And the rest of the team are available here too. So yeah, this is how it is. And this is what we had in the previous sprint that we are going to quickly review them. So in a sprint 58, these are the things that are done. We needed to have a new background, gradient background component for the YakShaver website, which Caleb did discuss with you, Louis, and managed to get it done. There was
it was not done, right?
Oh, sorry,
It's
not done. It's a won't do, as it's not required. There is a bug on OneDrive folder listening for non-SSW people tenant. So this was an issue that found during the research by Luis, and the issue was because the user didn't have a last name. So by adding a last name, this issue was fixed, but we created a new PBI to fix it completely. So yeah, that is.
Yeah, it sounds like a weird limitation that you need a last name to use it, even though most people probably have a last name. So we want to try and fix that.
Okay, so we added the last name for this person, but we added a separate PBI to actually fix the bug.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There was another end-to-end test done by.
Sorry,
Davis.
just on that last one. That sounds like an important bug. Is it at the top of the backlog for the next sprint?
It is not in the next sprint, but yeah, we are going to.
Okay, I think it's a blocker for us being able to actually use this for clients, right? Because clients may not have last names. So I think we should probably.
It's going to be a rare case because usually everyone has a last name, but because it was
our put required on the field. Because you create your user account separately to using YakShaver. So just make it required. Simple.
Still no, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, we can check that, but because it was on a test account, that's why it happened. So it was on a Northwind tenant, not a real user.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it probably isn't difficult to fix. Lewis, have you already YakShaved that bug, or did you say you're going to do it after the meeting?
I was going to do it because I can find a bit more detail, or maybe.
Okay, cool.
And
So when
just
you
release
do shave it, I guess we can pull it into the next sprint because hopefully it won't be a big deal to fix.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carry
Can
on.
you just confirm that the issue is that it's an external account that doesn't have a last name, or is it internal that?
It was both. So if an account had a first name but no last name, it wouldn't the videos wouldn't be picked up.
So we're talking about like Microsoft account, right?
Whatever their their account is on Entra.
Mm.
So we don't have control. We can't make it a required field because they can set up their account anywhere they want. It's separate from YakShaver.
Yeah, if it's not possible, then we might need to just look at a workaround.
Well,
Yeah.
I assume somewhere we've got user.last name and we don't have a check if it's null. So it should be very easy to fix, I imagine, once we figure out where it is.
Cool.
Anyway, carry on.
There was an end-to-end test done again. We call it V3. We go 1, 2, 3, and the next one will be 4. So Luis went through it, and whatever he could find, he fixed it, and it's done. There was another
pause on that one. So does that mean like we can call the whole waiting list and say let's go?
There's still heaps of stuff that needs to be done before we can give access to anyone on the wait list.
Okay. So we did an end-to-end test of a new tenant with our Teams thing, right? We still need to wait for the Teams thing to be certified into the proper store. Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
This was a minor UI fix. We wanted to be able to expand items independently, which is fixed. There's a website bento box, better readability and user experience that is done too. And there's another one again on the YakShaver website to replace emojis with icons. There was a request from Adam email that some of the mentioning names were not being put correctly. A pull request is created here and it is pending for release. Yeah, so it should be actually go to 59. Okay. Go back to the email. So if we check the code coverage, we have improved. We have crossed 20% to 30% now. So it was 29.6. Now we are 30.1, and we only had one deployment this week. Then application health, as we can see, there was a spike from.
Doesn't one deployment in a whole week with so many devs seem like?
Yeah, we needed more deployments, but unfortunately, because the people were distracted a lot, I guess we couldn't get it, and the tickets were a little bit like there are still a lot of them on pending release and review. So yeah, we didn't manage to get it.
So would it be correct that you finish a feature, you get somebody else to test it, and accept the pull request, and then you deploy it?
Yeah, we have to.
Is that not what we did? Were you deliberately holding back on any releases, or is it just that you didn't complete as many PBIs as you thought, or what?
So one of the issues is like we need to have production access in order to swap preview to the real one. So it's like you get it every day, and that is also, I think, would be one of the bottlenecks. But no, we tried to deploy as much as we can. Just we didn't have enough to push because I think the downs were not many, and they are mainly on the website. And yeah, there was some big bugs related to OneDrive folder and end-to-end tenant test. We are going to make a deploy hopefully by tomorrow to get the new pending releases to production. Is that okay?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like there's a lot of team members. I would have assumed each time one of them finished a feature, they would get it tested, PR accepted, and deployed together. I'm just surprised that like that was happening, right? It's just stopped happening. I still don't understand why.
I would say like there's still a lot of them that not reviewed yet. So
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess really when you look at it, there's only two things that actually got done in the last sprint because the rest were website stuff.
True. Yes.
Yeah. So that may be why. It's, yeah.
We had a spike during the weekend. Luis mentioned that he found what was the issue, but it fixed by itself. Luis, do you want to quickly explain that one?
Yeah, so there was a massive spike in failed requests. But throughout the week, actually, there were a few failed requests on the YakShaver website. I tried digging into it, but I couldn't find much information. But you can see in the graph, there's a massive spike on the weekend. And I had a look at some websites that see where the websites were down, and there were a few complaints that Azure was down on the weekend, so that may be the issue, but I need to do a bit more investigation for this.
Right. Okay.
Do you know when it started and when it stopped?
It started around, I think it was really early morning on the 11th. And it,
11th.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's Sunday. Yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It was Sunday. Let's just see if it happens again.
Mhm.
Our monthly usage, we have YangShen on the top of shaves.
Okay.
So
Has anyone figured out if that's real yet?
not yet.
Yeah, I have talked to Yang. She hasn't done that many of shaves. I think it was because a error that YakShaver thinks YakShaver is the name of Yang. So
yeah. Has
Cut that
anyone
bug.
seen the PBI where I reported this?
sorry.
Has anyone seen the PBI where I reported this?
No, I haven't seen a PBI for that. But since we are going to change the source of the leaderboard from activity based to the work item based, so this error will be resolved if we change the source. So
Okay. When will it be resolved?
Depends when we start working on the leaderboard, because last week I was working on one of the leaderboard work item and it was getting moved to the lower priorities.
Okay. So Stephen, before you change the data source, I would investigate the problem. How
Okay.
it was. Like, of course, if it's code that's irrelevant now, but you should understand how the bug happened.
Yeah, it seems weird that YangShen sounds like YakShaver, and therefore it counts shaves against YangShen, right? How does that even happen?
Yeah, like it's really confusing, but it's something to do with the logic in the leaderboard, I think.
Yeah.
So does the leaderboard use an LLM to analyze a transcript and then assign it to a person rather than looking at the user account that created the video, or what?
No, it shouldn't, because currently leaderboard should only counting the people who are requesting, who is the requester for.
That's what you would have thought, right? So how is it that YakShaver sounding similar to YangShen counts as shaves against YangShen? That's the weird thing. Anyway, you just investigate that and figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know the detail
on this, and then come back and show Callum and I the code what caused it.
Yeah, I will do investigate.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So our roadmap is still not much touched. We just received one more sub issue for.
I think that changes column is wrong, right?
Yeah, that's wrong. It should be I'll calculate it. It's not minus 1%.
Well, no, it's still unchanged, right? We've added 1 to that epic, but it's still 0 out of 0. So it's unchanged.
More work. So the backlog status, we have 145 new PBI. With the YakShaver label are 113 and 120 is completed. So it's 23 added.
FYI, a lot of those were test PBIs created on the brainstorming day.
Oh, okay. Cool. close them then.
I closed them today. Someone pinged me about it, Tom or someone.
Yeah, you fixed that.
Didn't we only just regenerate the stats though, so they should be up to date, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they're up to date. I'm just saying a lot of the completed and new PBIs are both kind of fake news.
All right. So completed means closed because it was a test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and they were closed at 9:30, if I remember correctly.
Is there any way of closing it by cancelling it instead of closing it appearing to be done?
I guess what we want to know though is the new PBIs. We want to know the net change in PBIs, right? And so we don't care whether they were done or closed or duplicates or whatever. We just want to know is the backlog growing or shrinking? Right. So if we create 50 extra new PBIs as tests, but then we don't mark them as completed, then it's going to look like our backlog's grown when actually it hasn't.
Right.
That's true, but if it's cancelled, we should not count as a new PBI and not count it as a completed PBI.
Oh yeah, could do. Yeah.
If that's possible. I don't know.
Yuli, can you just look to see if there is a way of doing it?
Yeah, I mean you can mark them as won't do or something. So you can look at the when they're closed, where they actually marked as done. It gets a bit complicated because then you got to look at ones that were opened and then closed and not marked as done when they were closed.
Yep.
It could be confusing, but still, I don't think it matters that much though.
I think it's a.
Wait, hang on. Can I just ask what happens when you use YakShaver and you shave it in a backlog and then you move it to another backlog? Does that count as a new and completed PBI for the one it originally went to?
Yeah, I guess so, because it would be created and closed.
Right. So there's no way to actually fully delete it. It's always new and completed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you can put remove status.
You can do a bunch of edge case handling to make this work, but there's just a lot of extra work.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think this is worth focusing on right now. Let's carry on with our meeting.
Yep. So if about R&D, Steven did some work about SharePoint permissions. He played around with creating a new tenant and doing some work about getting the permission for OneDrive stuff. Tom worked on creating test containers so that our integration tests would not rely on our staging database, and they would work from state test containers instead. Regarding the changes in AI tools, only Tom and Hajir had some changes. So Tom started working with Gemini and Fire Studio, and he was very impressed, and also something called GitHub Agent. And Hajir started using Gemini Pro 2.5, which seems sometimes is better than Cloud, but I say that you have to give them a try in different areas to get different results.
Yeah, so I'll give you something quickly on that. We talked about it in the AI meeting this morning. Claude 2.5 Pro IO, which is the new one that just got released last week, is not available in Cursor yet publicly. Sometimes they sneak it in every now and then for testing, but you don't know. But in the next couple of weeks, I would recommend changing it. Say again?
Is that Gemini?
Yes.
Gemini, yeah. So what did I say?
Claude 2.5.
Oh, sorry. Gemini 2.5.
Right.
Pro, yeah. IO mode. So what I'm saying is probably in the next couple of weeks, look for that as an option in your cursor and switch to it because it's better than Claude.
All right. Before getting to the retrospective, I was wondering if I could get. Oh, first of all, I want to step back, Yuli. Those ones that we just talked about, GitHub issues. Let's make a label called "not done" and close it. I think I'm most comfortable with that.
There's a label called "won't do." Not label, sorry, a status called "won't do." So when you close it, it's two separate actions. One is marking it done, and the separate thing is closing it. So you can already look at the disparity between those two.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. Then you can.
So if you close as, and also you can do like close as not planned or whatever. That's a thing, isn't it?
Not in our current templates.
Okay. Are these labels?
No, it's the state or something.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. The other thing is before we do the retro, I'd just like to understand the different areas people were working on. Rick, you were working for the whole week. What was the majority of your work on?
I was on client work, so I only spent one day on YakShaver.
Right. No worries. Stephen, what area for you?
Last week, I was majority working on the Spike to investigate how to save video to a tenant or client's SharePoint. And
Right. That,
yeah,
that one. Just highlight that so everyone can see it. That's good. Okay. Lewis, what about you?
Last week
Hajir, can you just highlight it so we can know which ones people are talking about?
Sure. So this is Steven.
no, the bottom one.
Steven, this one.
Yeah,
Yep.
this one.
Right. Okay. And Lewis, what about you?
Yeah, for me last week I picked up the top two that say there's assigned to Rick. He handed them over to me because he was on client work, so I finished those
Yep.
two off.
Yeah.
And then
okay.
I also worked on the big bug for that
Okay.
moving PBIs was failing.
Okay. Just a weird thing. I assumed Rick did those two that had his name against it. I'm not sure the right thing, but I would investigate adding an extra column, which is completed by. I'm not sure if that's possible, Yuli, but can you think about it?
I think you can have two assignees in GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But I see that assignee as the person that did it, so I would.
I think Rick probably did half of it.
Right.
If you
And
pay-
then handed over to Lewis.
Yeah,
If you pay, you can have multiple assignees.
Ah, yes, pay. Okay.
Right. I see. Okay. Tom, what about you?
Yeah, so I helped on Friday partially the Brisbane team on the YakShaver stuff. Then I worked on user roles, which caused some problems with testing. And then I jumped on implementing test containers.
Right. And Haju?
So I worked on browser extension mainly, so that there's some changes in UI and adding a download video feature.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
So I'm not sure if it would have been better, but if you had a couple of guys, like maybe Hajir, you and Stephen, were swarming together on the sprint goal, it's just an option where you're kind of all picking up individual ones, where if a couple of you can swarm on one and a couple of you can swarm on another, would be probably better. Anyway, you can think about it and see if that would work for you this sprint. All right, let's go to the retro.
yeah, so what went well? Callum says team got through a decent amount of work despite scheduling distractions. Luis moving to use blob storage to store videos will hopefully improve the storing situation with SSW SharePoint running out of space.
I didn't know that.
Luis says Rick was very helpful to Steven, and even though he was on client work. One went wrong. Tom said migration are not executed as part of the pipeline for staging prod, which needs to be fixed. Callum said unclear if the SharePoint changes to support ASF is sufficient because the videos also go to blob storage before getting processed. Tom says various onboarding issues when Team Brisbane tried to use YakShaver to follow README. Callum says still a fair amount of work to do to roll out access to waitlists. What we want to improve, Callum says use YakShaver to write better PBI for the YakShaver backlog. Ours should be the best because there were a couple of PBIs that were not following our template. Tom says update onboarding instructions to be accurate and error-free. Callum asks if we can put videos directly in blob storage instead. That was a question he wanted to raise.
Yeah, and I would like to add for the onboarding, I believe that either the instructions or the data sheet is missing.
Or what? Sorry?
Either the instruction for populating data or the data sheet in general is missing.
That's a seed, I
seed.
think.
Seed.
That's it. Sorry.
Right. Also, I would say I'd like you to try this out. That when you do a YakShave, where possible, you call over another person that you've already explained it to, and then you do it together. Because one of the things where maybe it's not necessary in some cases, but generally at the end of a conversation I have with a few people, I generally will YakShave it with those people in the call and let them comment. I'm noticing, especially with new people that are starting to use YakShaver that just joined SSW, they are not doing great YakShaves. So they, they would be better off if they've walked through what they're doing and they've got somebody else on the call, so you can see exactly what they're experiencing. The other thing is with this new change where you can have YouTube and SharePoint, I feel like it changed a whole lot of data. I feel like a whole bunch of ones where it was recording to YouTube before are now recording to OneDrive. I don't know. Am I imagining that, Rick, or is that true?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
I have a feeling that that there was a lot of projects that were recording to YouTube before, which are now recording to OneDrive.
Correct.
So it feels like they got changed around.
Yes, they were by default. We are creating the video in SharePoint. There are only 3 Tina projects that are uploading to YouTube. The rest of them are on SharePoint.
Right, but if you add a new feature to allow you to save in either place, but the way you implement the feature is that you switch projects that were recording in, say, YouTube somewhere else, it's a weird experience. Like,
so just for the timeline of that, I might be able to help. The timeline of that was we found out that YouTube had rate limits, that we couldn't put all our videos in YouTube because YouTube wouldn't allow us to put more than X videos per day. So we switched the default to be OneDrive, but like unlisted, so that it had the same functionality as YouTube from a sharing perspective. But then you wanted some ones to be able to be configurable to still use YouTube. So we did that. But it was basically, we moved everything to SharePoint, then we implemented some YouTube for certain videos, for certain things. Yeah. So it wasn't part of the same change. It was 2 different changes. We moved everything.
I don't care about your technical problems and which order you did it. It was saving in one location. You guys did back-end work. And my experience as a user is they started switching around. So if you move data, like, if you have like a technical thing where you got to move something to somewhere, you try your best to fix redirects or whatever, so the user doesn't feel the impact. Like I knew there was a logical reason for it, and I understand that you did switch it all. But once you realize, oh, we better back that out because everything's gone to OneDrive, and we've added a new feature, you try to update the data so people don't experience it. Yeah. Or
how could you have done that in this case?
Well, you could have sent an email to everybody or to each team member that said, really sorry, we've changed your location from this to this. And you just let people know.
Isn't it changed because someone went into the YakShaver admin portal and selected a different location to send the videos to?
No, I don't.
So shouldn't it be their job internally to communicate if they were a customer?
No, I think it was. I think that Rick changed every project to OneDrive. I think. Is that right, yes. Rick?
Yeah.
And then when he added new functionality to allow them to switch, he goes, great, there's new functionality, but you don't announce, like he could have, if he particularly was thinking about this, he could have said, all right, let's find out all the ones that were on YouTube and then fix it back.
Well, they were all on YouTube.
Oh, I doubt it. I don't think they all were. I know that sysadmins weren't. Were they? As
far as I know, yeah. Because you wanted it to be YouTube instead of SharePoint, so we did that, but then we ran into a blocker, so we undid it.
Oh.
So basically, they were all on SharePoint, then they were all on YouTube, then they were all back on SharePoint again, now some are on YouTube.
So if I understand correctly, YakShaver is now so popular that YouTube is starting to block us.
Correct. Yes, basically.
So every time that location was changed, an email should have been sent out to everyone saying we're changing the location. Is that right?
For your team.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
For your team, right? Should that just be an automated part of YakShaver? Like when you update it in the portal, it just sends out an email?
Actually, that's kind of interesting. If somebody was to go into, say, a team such as Eagle Eye and switch it from OneDrive to YouTube, it should send it to that team. Hey, you know, YakShaver's been changed for your team from
Yeah,
this.
because otherwise next time they record a video, they might record something private, assuming it's going to go internal, but now it's going external.
Yeah, it's a good call. All right, you want to shave it?
Let's shave it.
All right, who's going to record?
We are already recording, so it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna work.
You
Someone
can't,
needs to
because
record
you're
inside the recording.
Okay.
No, it has to be somebody using Windows snipping tool or something.
I got it. Give me a sec. I want my point on the leaderboard. Need to overtake Yang. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, we have a new feature request for YakShaver. As you can see in the portal here, you can select a different video hosting option for a team. So I believe there are 3 options. There's SharePoint private, SharePoint like unlisted or public, and YouTube. Whenever that is changed, everyone who is in that team should be notified about that. Now, I've just realized that this only knows about those people who are the members in that column there. So I suppose you might want to say to those members, hey, everyone else who works in your team or who's likely to shave to this might need to know this as well, so please share that information with them as well. But for now, I think we'll just notify the members column. Is that okay with you, Adam?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Cool.
Wonderful. I don't think you told it to mention the right people. That's right.
Ah, okay.
Now, one thing I would like to know is the other day I was recording a video and I recorded it and I finished, and then I went and recorded another one, but I stopped straight away, and then I wanted to start again. When I went back to the YakShaver chat, it says, do you want to cancel? So of course I said yes, and then I realized, oops, I said yes. It offered to do it on the one that was good, not the one that was bad.
Ah.
Yeah. And there was no undo. Is it gone forever? Is there any way that you could add an undo? Because as soon as I did it, I realized, oh no, that's not the short one. That's the long one I just canceled.
I guess the video still exists, right? We could just re-queue it.
Could you add an undo in there?
Yeah.
Everything is possible.
Rick, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
shave
we
it.
could do that.
You would need to go. You'd need to change the background here, Hajir, to canceling, to the cancel one. Like on the go to YakShaver docs, cancel.
Yeah, docs.
Something.
I've got a screenshot of that because my staging says it every time I do a video.
All right.
So yeah, I can do. Do you want me to take over the screen share for a sec?
Yes, please. Yes.
I am the captain now. Boom. Okay, so I am shaving. Three, two, 1. All right, we have a feature request for YakShaver. When you cancel a video, so for instance, when this one pops up and says, do you want to cancel it? Do you want to process it or cancel it or whatever? And I hit cancel. I would like sometimes to be able to reverse that decision and say, actually, you know what, let's do that. So at the moment, it just says shave has been cancelled. I would like a potential button option here to undo and shave anyway, or something like that. What do you think for the wording for that, guys?
Just the link that says undo at the end of that sentence.
Just undo? Okay, just a link says undo, which would undo it. So it may be required to be a button in this style, but have a look at it and see what it looks like. Anyway, the wording should be undo. Thank you. Done.
All right. And one other thing, guys, I'll ask is if I'm in a recording now where, say, Hajir is recording this and I YakShave from my end, I start recording from me, it seems to the owner is Hajir. So when I click on the link, it tries to open something that has Hajir in the OneDrive URL, and I can't see that until Hajir gives me permissions or something.
Yeah.
So I found that disorientating, and I wish I had have been given a warning. Oh, since Hajir has done this, he should do the YakShave rather than me.
Sorry, can you say that again? I didn't understand. What was the problem?
So right now, we are in a recording, and Hajir is recording.
Yeah.
I could say, oh, I want to YakShave something that we just are speaking about now. So I start recording on mine.
But you'd be using not Teams, right, to record?
No, I was using Teams.
Can you start a recording if you're already in a Teams recording?
Maybe I'm
There's only a
explaining this
stop
wrong.
recording button.
Sorry.
Stop recording.
Sorry. Maybe we're in a call. We're not recording, but Hajir has started this meeting, right? He started the call.
Yeah.
And then I've been added, and then I just say, oh, yeah, let's YakShave that. I YakShave it, but I don't understand it's being saved on his account, not my account. So now does this make more sense, Shirley?
Yeah, I didn't know that happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never.
So it's
You open the video and press play. I've never noticed where it is.
I can't open it because it's on his account, not mine. So, I'm
But
not sure.
isn't it only the case that you can't open it until YakShaver processes it and puts it in the right place, and then you can open it?
Oh, yes, I guess so.
So it's not a huge problem, right? But it is
It's
a
temporary one,
minor
but it is
UX
weird.
issue.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that's the
maybe-
link you're talking about, not the one in the PBI, but the one that pops up in Teams to say video.
Yeah, because I'm trying to check. I'm trying to work
Right,
out
I'm
whether
with you
to
now.
cancel
Sorry,
it or not.
because I've never had that problem. I didn't understand it. Got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out, should I cancel this one or the other one? And I can't see it. So maybe you could at least put in there in brackets Hajir or whoever's account it's on. So it's not a surprise when you click it. Oh, right. Oh, that's right. And this is in Hajir's OneDrive, not mine.
So you have a permission issue to watch the video. Is that right?
Yes. If it says, do you want to cancel this? Obviously, I want to look at the video before I cancel. But I can't because it was in yours, and I didn't know that until I clicked the link.
Can we just share the video with Adam before we send him the Teams card? How hard is that?
Yes, we can, but I think by default, Teams should already shared the video to whoever is in that call. But
apparently it didn't in this
yeah,
case.
But then we need to investigate what was the problem because we didn't have this problem before.
Have you already shaved this issue, Adam?
I have not because I wasn't sure the right way to go about it.
Right. I guess ideally, we would make sure that you have access to the video before we send you a link to the video, so that you're able to click the video. And then if that isn't possible for whatever reason, then we add a warning message that says, this is in Hajir's OneDrive, if we have to.
What I'm thinking is, well, I don't know, but when you look at the chat, it has in brackets whose account it's under.
Yep.
I think that would be the least disorientating thing.
Unless we can literally just give you access.
Would it be better if we can just share it with you? You click on it, it opens, there's no problem.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Of course, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
One question. What is the reason that we just don't let the video to be pasted like this in GitHub and also in Azure DevOps so that the users can come here and see the video directly without SharePoint or anything?
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Really?
Yeah, for YouTube that would work, but for OneDrive, for the internal OneDrive, it might work, but in most of the cases it would be just that you don't have permissions to see it.
Azure DevOps does a similar thing. If you have it, if you create a ticket and paste it there, it gives you a link, and I think everyone would be able to see that from the ticket. No permission issues at all, and no hosting issues. Like it's going to be free because it's hosted on GitHub.
I'll tell you, I don't mind how it works now already because I often am looking for the description more than I'm looking for the video to start with to get a quick overview of what this is, and then I go into the video if I want to know more.
Would be practical to be able to click through the video. Especially if it's short.
If we did that, I'd want to move the video lower in the PBI.
But it might fix all of our hosting and security and permission issues, because this will only be available inside that ticket and nowhere else.
But the issue that Adam is reporting is before it even is in a GitHub issue, right?
Yeah, before processing.
So I guess this is a potential solution for another problem, but not the same one. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
You look unsure, Haji, am I right or wrong?
I mean, we could, in that case, I'm not sure if we can get the link before that. So we could provide this link to the user, and this link should be able to open by any user.
So we put it in a GitHub issue first, and then we send
we
the video
first
to the user and ask them if they want to process it.
No, we upload first, because as soon as you paste the video, it starts to.
So we upload it to GitHub user attachments first.
Yeah, and then give the link to Teams, and I mean this could work. I haven't.
Well, if we're going to do that, why don't we just put it in blob storage so we're not dependent on GitHub?
The cost, because we have to have a storage account, and a client may say we don't want to use
YakShaver. The only thing I'm thinking is that we want to know as soon as possible, like that there's a video, and give them the link to that video before we even know if this is going to be in GitHub or Azure DevOps or Jira or wherever, or in an email or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
sense. So we want it to be the first step in the workflow, so minimize the latency.
But is this a good option to create as an alternative way for storing videos, you think?
For the proper video, maybe, but not for the one.
Yeah, once you've created a GitHub issue, then sure, put the video on the GitHub issue directly. That makes sense.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, I'll make a PBI for this then.
Sure.
Investigate.
Yeah, I mean, investigate it, because we're going to have an option for what do we do when it's an email or an Azure DevOps issue or whatever.
Sure. Cool. Okay, so this was the retro, and I think we covered everything so far. And we can go to the planning if there's no other things to discuss.
I guess I have a quick question. We had 3 things in pending release, I think. Why didn't we just deploy them?
So this one is it depends on Chrome Store whenever they approve it. So it's the extension is looks something like this. This is the new one, and this is the old version. So
okay.
It has all the features. But yeah, whenever they say it's approved, I can change it to done.
Nice. Any other 2?
And the other thing is
2 bugs.
Yeah, bugs. I think Luis just did a deploy today, so we can possibly check if they are done or not. Do you think we should change it now, Luis, or?
No,
is the deployment done?
The deployment is done. The thing is, there's another PBI that's with this one that hasn't been released yet. So there's another PR, sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So these are the tickets for next sprint.
Now the sprint goal for next sprint has changed as well, right? Because it currently still has the same goal as last sprint.
We haven't finished the last sprint goals, so yeah, we could change it if you want.
But we're also deprioritizing the client number 1 onboarding.
Okay. Yeah. So we want to have a Stripe as the main one you mentioned.
Yeah. So yeah, I decided, Adam, that we should deprioritize the client number 1 onboarding because there's a lot of stuff we need to do to make it work, and it's not going to be useful for anyone who's currently on our wait list to have this feature available. So it seems like we should focus on getting everyone on the wait list onboarded first. Then we can move on to, client number 1 onboarding afterwards.
So you're prioritizing externals.
I basically want to get everyone on the wait list to start using YakShaver. Because the client number 1 thing is basically it's an SSW feature that allows SSW consultants to add PBIs to the client number 1 backlog. So that's not really a feature that's going to be sold to YakShaver customers anyway.
Right.
And it keeps blowing out in terms of scope. Like even if we did all the stuff that was in it, there were potential other issues that came up as well. So I think it's not worth the effort right now.
Okay. All right. So if that was done, one of our clients could use it the other way, couldn't they?
Well, no, they don't use it. SSW consultants would be able to use it to put PBIs in their backlog, but they still wouldn't actually be using YakShaver directly.
Okay. All right.
So it's not even that great.
Okay.
How do we make sure that random videos don't go to clients' inboxes?
What, you want it to go in the backlog, not
In the clients' backlogs?
Yeah, I can imagine that scenario where you want things to always go in backlogs, and with, you don't want it to accidentally send it as an email.
Not just that, say that you misspell something or you accidentally say a word, say you're reporting a TimePro bug, but you mention a client and it thinks that it should send to that client rather than TimePro. And then it creates that bug or feature in.
I don't see how YakShaver sends emails to clients. It only sends to who's in the
Well, it
user.
can't do it at the moment. If we did go ahead with the client number one onboarding, then you mentioned the client number one name in an unrelated bug. It may accidentally send them something, but since we're not connecting up client number one, it's not a problem to worry about for now, but it is a concern for when we do add it, I suppose.
Yeah, it does time to time happen that TimePro issues go to YakShaver instead of TimePro.
Right.
And now when we add clients, there exists a possibility that will also happen with the client backlogs.
Right.
Yep. So we may need to add like an extra check, like don't automatically send it, confirm first if it's external or something like that. But that's a bridge to cross when we come to it. I don't think it's a concern for right now because the YakShaver is only going to be internal for now.
Yeah,
as an internal to
your
to the customer.
It can be problematic.
Yeah. Carry on with the sprint planning summary.
Okay, so for sprint 59,
59. Yep.
there are a couple of pending release and review that are shifted to this one. So after they're done, we can just push it. There's some in progress. Teams app polished document for testing steps.
Is that being worked on at the moment?
Yeah, so when Rob is back, I have to go through and just check with him.
You wait for Rob. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. You did mention that. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, there is website docs index reworking, client portal, user roles. We added roles for admins so they have access to different areas. Video will be hosted on client SharePoint folder. This is for ASR. They can use this.
We knocked that out of the sprint, didn't we? That was the thing that I just said that we were going to knock out of the sprint.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
I can remove this one. This is a SharePoint folder. It's not about.
Yes, this is related.
So this is in one of the. We don't need this one then too, right?
No, knock it out of the sprint.
It is related.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove this one. Then we have YakShaver, a new YakShaver blog page. We want to replace with the previous one. Stripe payment setup. This is our sprint goal. We want to focus on Stripe. We want to. There's a couple of tickets about website improvement and blog and pricing and buttons. There is a meeting to be done with Wixie so that we could get their experience about CMS and Stripe and lesson learned. This one is an upgrade to Tailwind 4 for YakShaver website, not the client portal. And we want to also introduce rate limiting based on the pricing plan, so that currently it shows on the pricing that how many projects they can have based on free user or pro user. And we want to also include rate limiting so that they cannot abuse our servers.
That's obviously required before we roll out access to the waitlist people.
Yeah. Will we have a queue for processing? So if they reach rate limit, does that mean that it's going to be processed at later time, or is it going to block processing?
I imagine it would block it. It would send a message that says, sorry, you're over your limit. And maybe you could have a retry button once you're, at the end of the month when your limit resets. But I don't think you'd want to queue them up, because then every month it's going to, if you're on free plan, it's going to take 15 off your wait list. You might have, thousands of videos queued up and none of your new ones are going to get through. So I'd say don't queue them, but have a button to reprocess, I guess.
Or to pay for more immediately.
Oh yeah, or that too. Yeah.
And yeah, the final one is to discuss about user authentication strategy for client portal. If we want to use identity server, which we have, or if we want to still keep using Nextout with Magic Link, Google provider, or other providers or not, what are the pros and cons? That should be an investigation. Yeah, that is the plan for the next week, and the video will be available on YakShaver website. So yeah, YakShaver YouTube channel. You can come here and see other sprint reviews. It was a pleasure being your host, gentlemen, and have a great day and see you later. Bye.
Thanks.
See ya.
Sorry for the 1,000 questions. Appreciate it.
The pleasure was all mine.
Cool.
It's